Hi guys, how you doing? I'm just going to do a quick tutorial video on the one-legged hip thrust. It's freezing in here. Right, so what you'll do, same as a two-legged hip thrust, the start position is the same in so much as you just want your upper back on the bench, upper back only, so not your elbows. You can use your elbows to get you in a position, but after that, you want to get your elbows just kind of free here, so they're not leaning against it, it's just your upper back. In terms of the foot position, obviously because you're going out one leg, if you're doing a two-legged version, your feet would be wider. If you took one foot off, it suddenly you'd kind of slant to one side. So probably you want to sort of start with a slightly narrower stance, so that when you take one leg off, that leg's a bit more in the middle of your body, or closer to the midline. So what we want to do is make sure that your knee is about 90 degrees. So we don't want it back here, but more commonly what happens is people have it out too far, like here. So that's too far, because what this will do is we'll bring in the hamstring more. You won't get the full benefit of full activation you're looking for in the glutes. So you're working at about 90 degrees, okay? So you want your foot directly underneath your knee, essentially. From there, this leg here, this just hovers, okay? This is the non-working leg. The working leg or the working glute area is the one that's on the ground. The reason I mention that, it might sound obvious, but quite often I see when people do one-legged exercises like this, they focus so much doing stuff like this. They focus on this leg as if this is the working leg, completely forgetting what they're doing here. So just try and ignore this leg really, as long as it's off the ground and relax. Don't straighten it a lot, because you might not just work the quad. So hold it here. So this initially, what I'm doing right now as I'm talking is an isometric example of an isometric exercise. It's a one-legged hip thrust hold. So the glute is engaged to hold the hips in position. Focus on pushing your ribs down the way, as if you're trying to get your ribs to come towards your hip, and your lower rib towards your hip. And what that does is help keep the core engaged. So you should really see just holding this. This is a legitimately good exercise in its own right. The one-legged hip thrust isometric. Just feel like your glutes are just engaging, holding the tension. And just from there, what you want to do to the hip thrust point, or the movement, is just to slowly lower yourself down and then push up. Okay, so slowly lower yourself down and push up like that. I know my elbows run here, I think I probably mentioned at the start not to put your elbows here. What I actually meant, I really tried to just do it now, so I didn't know video again. What I actually meant was not to do this, because a lot of folk, when they first do it, they do this, right? So your elbows can sit here, I just mean you're not wanting to lead with the elbows with your upper back like this. Anyway, so what I want you to do to be thinking this is just focus on lowering this hip down, like this, and then drive it back up by squeezing the glute, but pushing the hips down. Okay, that's quite slow, that was about 90 seconds of a hip hold there. Okay, what I like to tell people to visualise this is imagine it's almost like a slingshot or a catapult. So if you imagine, right, I've mentioned how the lowering phase of our movement is the eccentric phase, it's when the muscles lengthen. Say it was a catapult or an elastic band, you pull it back, you're literally lengthening it, you're creating potential energy by pulling it back, creating this tension, and then you're going to let it go, bang forward, it turns into kinetic energy, it goes forward. It's the same idea with muscles. So you're lowering this down, you're lengthening, you're literally lengthening this glute area, and then when you're ready, you're going to power it up fast and let it go, drive it forward. So try and visualise the concept of like an elastic band or a catapult. So you're lowering down slowly, you wouldn't pull it back fast if it was a catapult, so it would just snap, and you wouldn't get the full benefit of the energy you're trying to create. So you're slowly lowering it down, and then up fast. So take 3 seconds on the eccentric, 1, 2, 3, and then up fast. As you come up, exhale, okay? So 1, 2, 3, exhale. And that's what we're looking for. Making sure you keep your heel on the ground as well, okay? So we don't want you to come up on your toes. Keep your heel on the ground. And that's the one-legged hip thrust. Final thing to be aware of is your knee position in relation to your foot. So make sure that your knee isn't caving inwards. And that will tie us in nicely to the next video exercise I'm going to sort of go over. But this movement here is called valgus knee, when your knee goes inwards. So you want to avoid that in this exercise, primarily because one of the goals of one of the roles, should I say, of the outer part of the glute, the lateral area of the hips, is abduction of the hips, to take the hip away, or to take away to the side. So you're trying to engage and activate this area of your glute, which is directly related to what's happening with this knee. Okay, so if you can focus on bringing in this outer part of your glute to help keep this knee in line with your foot and not coming inwards, which is a common thing that can happen on one-legged hip thrusts, and two-legged hip thrust. Well, loads of exercises, but specifically for this exercise, that's what I mean. Okay, cheers.